Oh boy. Okay, so I know you guys are all here to get a look at this piece of cutting edge technology, the Samsung HMX-E10 pocket camcorder. But before we talk about that, I just want to remind you guys that Film February is in action, and if you want to participate, you need to do it fairly soon if you want to get your film sent in on time. So I'm going to leave a link below to the website, and I'm going to put at the end a link to Danae and Andrew's channel, and you can go check out their video talking all about what Film February is and why you should participate. I was cleaning out a drawer the other day, and I stumbled upon this little gem right here. This is the Samsung what the hell is it? Samsung HMX-E10 pocket camcorder. This thing came out in mid 2010, and I bought it. Then I forgot I owned it, and I just found it the other day. I think maybe I've shot 20 minutes of video total on this thing in my entire life, and I thought, you know, it'd be pretty interesting to see what a pocket camcorder from 10 years ago looked like today. It shoots 1080p, 30 frames per second video. It's got a front-facing lens. It's actually a swivel lens, so it can swivel around to be front or rear-facing. And you can see yourself when you're recording in this screen here. I'm just going to turn it on so you guys can see what that looks like. So as you can see, the top half of the screen shows you what you're recording. It's a touch screen, very low resolution, but hey, it's 10 years old. It's quite small, like it's very, very small. It's a little thick. I'll get into the specs during the video because I actually vlogged for 2 or 3 days with this thing. I had planned on doing an entire week, but that was just excruciating and I gave up. So let's cut to that, and you can go on this lo-fi adventure with me where sound quality and video stabilization were things that people didn't care about. So one thing I didn't really take into consideration when I decided to vlog every day with this thing is that none of the places that I am during the day are very quiet. They're all really loud. I've got a big server rack right here with fans blowing, or else I'm in a mechanical room with machinery and fans and all kinds of stuff going on, or I'm in like a big cavernous mechanical room that is really echoey and sounds like garbage. So I don't know how this is going to sound, but again, it's technology from 2010, so I really don't know how it's going to sound anyways. So the year is 2010. It's summer of 2010, and Samsung announces the HMX-E10, which is this. It's a pocket-sized, HD-capable video camera that also happens to take 8 megapixel still photos. Just going to run you down a specs list of what this thing had in 2010. So it's got a 1/3.2 inch CMOS sensor. It's backside illuminated apparently, which sort of I didn't think existed then. It's a very small sensor, one of the smallest in fact. It's got a 4.9 millimeter f2.2 lens, which in 35 millimeter size is 37 millimeters. So it's not that wide. Like, I'm not very close to the camera right now, but it's still kind of a tight shot, you know? So as far as holding this thing and vlogging, you're not going to get a nice wide angle You could put a little tripod on the bottom of it to try to get a little bit more reach, or a selfie stick or something, because it does have a 1/4-20 tripod socket in the bottom, so at least they thought that through. The lens rotates, it says 270 degrees, which is, you know, half a turn plus another 1/4 turn, so 3/4 of the way around a circle. You can get different angles, like if I move it around here, you know, you can, whatever. When it flips to rear facing, the image automatically flips, and then that extra 1/4 turn actually tucks the lens into the body to keep it protected if you have this thing in your pocket. So it shoots in H.264 video format, 1080p, 30 frames per second. The only other two options are 720p at 30 frames per second or VGA. So you're stuck at that 30 frames per second. It shoots 8 megapixel JPEGs, and they're pretty terrible. I'll maybe snap a couple of pictures with it just to show you guys what it looks like. It's got a built-in stereo microphone, 230,000 dot touchscreen, not in the millions, 230,000. And it is a horizontal screen, but the image that you see of what you're recording takes up about the top half in vertical format, and then you've got functions for record photo and then digital zoom. It's got a 2x digital zoom, no optical zoom whatsoever. It's got USB-A plug that sort of sticks out the bottom of it when you hit a little button, kind of like a switchblade, which is actually kind of neat, but you would think at the time micro SD existed, so putting a micro SD plug inside would have taken up a lot less room. But at the same time, you don't need a cable for this. You can just plug it right into any USB-A plug, whether that's a wall adapter or right into your computer for uploading. It's got a quick upload button, so you can just hit upload and it will instantly upload to your device of choice that you're plugged into. It takes micro HD cards. I've got a 32 gig card in here, which will get me something like 200 plus minutes of video, of HD video, or like 1,000 8 megapixel photos. It has a replaceable battery, which is kind of nice, because as I'm recording here, and I've only recorded about 6 minutes worth of footage, I'm already down 1 bar. It's a pretty small battery. It doesn't have the, it's got an amp hour rating on it. If I figure it out, I'll put it on the screen here, but it's not a big battery. So having an extra battery or having the ability to charge this thing quickly is nice, not having to have a cable to lug around. So I do like that about it. It's got an HDMI out if you want to view your videos or photos directly from the device onto a TV or a monitor that supports HDMI. That's pretty much everything going on with this camera. It's quite small. I'll throw up a photo of it on top of my Samsung Galaxy S10 just for a size comparison. It's thicker, a lot thicker, but the footprint is about half the size, I would say. I think it sold for about $200 US when it was new. I've had this thing for probably that entire 10 years. Maybe I bought it in 2011. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like it was maybe late 2010. And I think I've maybe recorded half an hour's worth of video on it up until this week, when it's definitely going to be getting more use than it ever has in the past. So it should be interesting. Hopefully the rest of this video isn't just me sitting in one of my little offices here. It's going to be hard to film me working and probably dangerous, so I'm not going to do that. But if I have to walk anywhere, we'll try to get some footage in. Cheers. Just to give you guys sort of a baseline on the amount of noise that I deal with in my everyday life. This is regular. Got earbuds in to try and prevent myself from going in. But I'm here, flip you around, and I'm fixing this old beast, which it's already fixed, but here we are. wish this lens was a little bit wider. Also, it's snowing, which I didn't think it was going to snow today. You know, it's times like this during the day that are my absolute favorite, when I get to take my mask off, when I'm in a room that I know nobody else has been in. It's an absolute luxury of my job to be able to do this a few times a day at least. So I'm just thinking about this camera and sort of the things that are driving me crazy about it as I use it. The whole front of the camera where the touchscreen is all plastic, so it's a pocket camera. Sorry for the noise, there's elevators running up and down in here. It's a pocket camera, but if you put it in your pocket, it gets scratched. You can flip the lens around so that it's protected, which is nice, because I remember when camera lenses on smartphones were covered with plastic and they would scratch really easily. I think the LG G3 was a camera that I remember having that the cover for the lens on the rear camera was plastic, and it scratched almost immediately when I got it. But when you think of something like a modern smartphone, this is an iPhone XR. You know, the screen is obviously glass, the cameras are covered by glass, usually something like Gorilla Glass. I know Apple talks about how their camera lenses are sapphire, but I think it's just a coating. But yeah, it's definitely the longevity and build quality of these kinds of devices has just come so far in 10 plus years. It's kind of crazy. The 37mm equivalent lens is also driving me a little bit nuts. It's definitely not really wide enough to vlog with. I'm holding it on the end of a tripod right now, so normally it would be like here, you know, and I have fairly long arms, so if you have short arms, like, you're gonna be pretty tight into your face. Yeah, not ideal. And I haven't really had a chance to look at the picture quality either. I know in good light it's probably okay, but this is pretty mixed lighting. I'm standing by a bright window, so I don't know. I'm curious to plug this thing in at home and have a look at it. I might not end up vlogging the entire week with it. It's already getting pretty old, and I could just be taking this footage with my phone, and it would be, you know, immeasurably better, I'm sure. So, yeah. See, like, for instance, this is an iPhone XR. This is the front-facing camera. It's recording in 1080-60. But then on the rear-facing camera, it does 4K 24 frames per second, which, I mean, way better. I didn't bring my Samsung with me today, which shoots 4K HDR 10 plus video from the rear camera, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So it's come a long, long way in 10 plus years. A long way. 10 years is nothing, but in terms of tech innovation these days, it might as well be a century. So there it is. I even threw some footage in at the end there with my iPhone XR, just to show you guys how far things have come, and that's like a 2-year-old phone now. Anyways, so it's crazy to think how far video has come in 10 years. Pocketable, high quality video. Like I said in part of that footage, my Samsung Galaxy S10, which is now also 2 generations old, shoots 4K 24 frames per second HDR 10 plus video, which is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous video. You have to color grade it, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful video. And to look at it compared to what this thing puts out, it's almost laughable. But I remember at the time being just blown away that you could get 1080p in your pocket. And there were a couple other cameras at the time, the Sony Bloggy, and there was a Flip Video, something or other, but they were all pretty much the same. When you look at the quality now, it's shocking. It looks like you're watching VGA. Like, there's some really well lit scenes where it does actually look like HD, but most of the time, no, not at all. So I'm so thankful that we've progressed as far as we have as far as video quality goes. Yeah. So don't go buy one of these because you think they're cool and retro. They suck, and the batteries don't last very long, and they scratch like crazy. The whole thing's plastic, even the screen. But it was fun. It was fun to shoot with this old stuff. That's kind of like my thing these days, is finding old weird gear and seeing if it still works. And I find for stills cameras, absolutely, they're great. I love old stills cameras. Old video cameras, you know, unless you're going like Super 8 or VHS or whatever to really go for that old retro look, then sure. But this is kind of somewhere in the middle where it doesn't look bad enough to be cool, but it doesn't look good enough to be good, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So anyways, Samsung HMX-E10 pocket camcorder. Just don't buy one. It sucks. I'll see you guys in the next video.